Hey, welcome to Larry Smith Outdoors. This week, I'm fishing with my good friend John Fossey. Hey, John. Thanks for having us out, buddy. You know what? We're going to do a little walleye fishing, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be fishing hair jigs. John's been catching a lot of walleyes on hair jigs. Now, this is something a little bit different, John. Putting a minnow on there? Are you serious?
Hey, never
Can't
thought.
just get them on hair jigs?
Who would have thought?
Yeah, I'll tell you. You know, most of the time when I'm out walleye fishing, and it's usually using plastics. I've gotten away from using a lot of live bait the last couple of years, and usually hair jigs, but you're saying you gotta have the minnow on there.
Gotta have them.
You know, a lot of it's probably got to do with the water temperatures dropping way down. You know, obviously fall is right here, and you know, the fish are definitely packing back up and putting a feed bag on too. You would think that just a regular hair jig would do it, but I trust you, buddy. We'll do we'll put the minnow on there. But you know, maybe I might try a couple times without it, so we'll see. If you start catching more than I do, then I'm gonna go back to the minnow. You know, what we're going to be doing today is basically just, you know, we've got a pretty good wind out here. It's, I would say right now, a pretty good north wind. And we're going to just put the boat sideways and drift.
I think that's a good one.
Okay, and then if we get them, you know, it's pretty, I see on this boat, John, how big is this boat?
23.
23 footer. I see you got a Tarova up front there. How long a shaft you got on that thing?
72 inch.
72-inch shaft, and that actually will hold this boat in place, huh?
Hold it in place.
That's incredible. Hey, I guess maybe if we get a spot that they're really concentrated on, we'll see how that Tarova works on this big boat and see what happens. So, all right, hey, stay tuned for Larry Smith Outdoors. Let's see if we can catch some walleyes today.
Let's do it.
Here we go, John.
Walleye?
Yeah, nice fish. You want to grab the net for me, big guy?
Yep.
Appreciate that. You know what? Oh, there we go. I put that minnow on there, like you said, John. I put that minnow on there. Got him, buddy. Nice fish.
Oh, sorry. Good net job. Good net job.
Thanks, buddy. You know, it is amazing. I made about 40 casts without a minnow, and John had missed 2 and had another one on, and as soon as I put that minnow on, that was the second cast with that minnow on that hair jig. I don't know why, because I know you're a couple years older than me. I don't know why I don't.
More than a couple.
Just listen to you.
3 to be exact.
Excellent. Johnny, what do you say I'm positioning myself? I take offense to that.
I would
stay
too.
right there, John. You're good. I'll flip them right in.
Okay, flip them right in.
You know, I don't know. You know, I think sometimes, John, the older you get, the more testy you get. How dare you think that I would...
Sensitive.
More sensitive. That's what they call it, huh? John and we've been friends for a long time, my friend. You know, and I'll tell you something, that's really been the nicest part about my guiding business, and that's where I originally met John. And now he's kind of like a second father to me. But you're not really that old, though. John, can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Well, I'm in the food business.
Yep.
And I sell chicken,
Bacon.
bacon,
What kind of
pork,
chicken?
Gerber Amish chicken.
I've had some of them, friends. Them are excellent.
ABF, antibiotic-free, vegetarian-fed, pure chicken as you can get.
You've given me some of that chicken, and I went out and purchased some after that. It is absolutely excellent,
And
John.
of course, the other one is the Burger Smokehouse bacon, which is all natural bacon, no water added to it. So when you cook it up, you got just bacon. Burger Smokehouse.
That sounds good. Hey, John, I don't know if you ever noticed anything, but I do like to eat.
No, I've never noticed that.
Here we go again, Johnny. Oh, I got the hot hand on you, old boy.
Well, you sure do.
You had the good start. She's a little rough out here, huh? Well, what do I got here?
Look at that whopper.
What is
Let's get the net on that.
It sure is nice to see different year classes
like
all
that.
the way.
I like that.
All right, little guy. I thought he was a monster. You know what we did? We just came over this hump and we caught a couple on this hump. So now what I did is I'd hit the spot lock on the Tarova, just put a new minnow on, and what we're gonna do is pitch back onto the humps and drag it back up this way. So more of a precise situation. We made a drift down the whole reef, and the bulk of the fish, again, and it's real common for the fish to be sitting on the windward side. This is the front side, the wind's out of the north, the first humps are right here, and then we made our way all the way through, and we only had a couple of bites on the downward side. So now we're gonna just do more of a precision cast back here and work it back. Let's see what happens. Here we go. I tell you, John, I got the hot hand. I got him. I'll tell you something. I love any kind of fishing, but this walleye fishing with these hair jigs and the minnows, I'm telling you, is absolutely awesome. I still can't believe I can't get these fish without that minnow on there today. When I'm jig fishing, especially making these long casts, I like to use the super braid. I talk about it all the time. I think they're all pretty good. You know, this one I've got on some nanofill, which is decent line, but you know, a lot of other times I'll use Power Pro 2. So I think it really depends on, you know, what you really prefer to use. It's kind of like, you know, some guys like Chevy trucks, some guys like Ford, some guys like Dodge. But what we have is here, I'm using a fluorocarbon leader spliced in here, and I've got about 3 foot of it, and I'm just casting straight back. And when I'm casting straight back, what I do is, the key is, because a lot of times with these super braids, you get a lot of twist in your line. 2 things I like to use. I like to use the Real Magic. Especially when you start getting a lot of twists in your line, spray a little bit of that on there, and I'm casting right straight back downwind. Now watch, I let it sit. I'm casting back into about 6 feet of water. Now, when I'm jigging, and especially because the wind's coming straight from my back here, is that I'm going at a slight angle so I can keep my line as straight as I can going back, and I'm just giving it a little bit of a pop. I'm following it down all the time. What happens is most of the time people overwind and the bait is too high up in the water column. I'm trying to keep that bait just off the bottom here. Just going straight back. Now, if you hold your rod to the side, what happens is that line, it's hard to see because of the low light conditions, is that line starts getting a twist in it, gets a twist in it, and what happens, it starts binding up into the reel. So try to always keep your line as straight as you can. Always cast straight downwind. Makes a huge difference. And you know something? I know why I didn't get a bite on that one. Guess what?
No minnow.
I had no minnow. Got one, Johnny?
Got one.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
wow,
I hope
was
you
right.
don't need the net, buddy.
He was right by the boat. All right.
Guess
All
what,
right.
buddy?
You got one?
You thought you were up on me one?
Oh, man.
We're still tied, man. I'll tell you, John, there's a couple good things in life. One of them, family, friends, and fishing.
I'll fish to that.
All right. Let's let these babies go.
I'm surprised we haven't caught anything a little bit on the larger side.
This is a nice fish. John, grab the net. It's a big fish. I got a nice one, John. This one's worth definitely the net. Got her, buddy?
Get her.
Okay. I don't know how much longer I can hold him. Get that net down in the water. Oh, look at the size of that fish. No, I'm serious. Get the net down. It's a big fish. Look at the size of that one. That is a dandy. Right here, John. Right here. Right, John. No. Get her in there. Yeah, baby. You gotta love it. I'll tell you something. You just said, I can't believe we haven't caught a big fish yet today. Oops, sorry, girl.
Did you want me to help you get it out?
No. I tell you, we have absolutely this year, John, on our show, honestly, the big guy upstairs has been watching us big time. We caught one of the biggest muskies that I've seen in a long time. Look at that hair jig, you guys. Look at that. absolutely
Hair jigs are great.
swallowed them. You know, one thing I like about the hair jigs is that I can work them a lot slower, and I kind of pop them a little bit, and that hair just pulsates. And I honestly think this time of year when this water gets this cold, that really triggers them fish. And you put a minnow on the back of it, and this, I was working it so slow, and he absolutely just throttled that thing. You know, John, that is absolutely a beautiful fish. I'll tell you that. Let's let her go, and she can make lots more. Here we go, Johnny.
Hey,
I love it.
look at that, huh?
Little bit small than what we've been catching. You know, after I just caught that really nice walleye, again, I wish I'd at least leave my minnow on there. Look at, I just barely got that thing hooked.
See that?
You know, again, just kind of working that hair jig kind of slow. It's because that water temperature dropped down so much, and boy, that fish, actually I pumped it twice, and I thought he was on there, and pumped it again, and I felt the weight's pretty solid, and set the hook on him. But yeah, another nice fish. And again, you know, when I'm casting, the key is always to cast right straight downwind. The winds have let down finally, all them storms have gone by, and I always, John, I just, you know, work it, and it's always in my wrist. It's not, a lot of people lift too much all the time. And the other thing is, a lot of times people are winding too fast. You know, I'd rather have people hooked up on the bottom every once in a while and say, wind a little faster, versus the natural thing is that people, they're over winding all the time. So, you know, again, try to keep that jig, unless it's really rough. You know, them fish, then they'll come up off the bottom. But when it flattens out like it's starting to do now, finally, you know, it's so much more important to keep that jig tight to bottom. So, and you know, you kind of change your technique too, you know, and through the course of the day. Earlier, you know, I was lifting a lot more, you know, more of a longer stroke, and now I'm just popping it real slow on the bottom, just getting that hair to open and close, pulsate like that, and that tail, that minnow is just kind of working back and forth. And a lot of times, you know, the last couple casts, they've been popping the minnow off it, just grabbing the backs of it. So then I sped it up just a little bit, and it seemed to work. We'll see what happens. All right, Johnny. Good job, buddy.
What a lesson. What a lesson you just gave me.
Little lesson. Ooh, there you go. Nothing wrong with that. There you go, buddy. All righty. Johnny! You were in a little bit of a slump for a while. Believe me, I know what it's like.
I was a schlep?
Yeah, no, a slump, I said, not a slump. You were slumping there for a little bit. Nice
Making
job.
15? No, a little small.
A little bit small.
I'm not going to get
go.
any fish to eat here. Man, I got to pick up the pace.
Yep, it'll happen. John! John!
Yes, got her.
I think you're on the hump. There's a nice fish.
All right.
I got one before you even got your rod. I love it. You know something? I got to tell you something, John. I must be getting a little older, because you know why? I'm a little bit forgetful, because I forgot resting my frog togs today. And look at this. I ripped these pants that I had sitting in the boat for spares, and a friend of mine would say, I'm breezing it.
Anyway,
now, you got the suit
I have
on.
the new dry pour frog togs.
It definitely pays when you're out in the elements, for one thing, to have really good gear. The other thing is to have somewhat of a memory, to know enough, have enough common sense to bring all your stuff, not just half of it.
Well, you know me, I got a suit from every manufacturer there is.
Yep.
And this one here, I really enjoy. It really works.
That's good to hear.
Yep.
Hey,
Pockets all over the place, man. Everything is waterproof.
you know my birthday's coming up pretty soon.
Happy birthday.
Let's get some more fish. John, come on, buddy. Look at this. I'm on fire today. You want to buy a minnow? I'll sell you some minnows. I'll tell you, there's nothing better than fishing. I don't care if it's walleye, smallmouth, largemouth, giant muskies that we had such a great year so far this year catching, and walleyes.
Am I going to get to eat that one?
Nope. You got to catch your own now.
Oh.
Come on.
What a way to treat
I'm
a
going to keep
guy.
throwing them back until you can start catching them again. You started it off, and now you've been slacking. There you go, Johnny. There you go, my friend. Now you're catching on. Nice job. Hold that one up to the camera, John. Hey, middleman.
Hey, look at that hook set.
That was nice.
Did
See?
you see that?
I see that.
Look at that fish. How do you like that fish? That's nice. Beautiful fish. My honey didn't see that.
All right, thank you. Start fishing, buddy.
Nice fish.
Unless it's just a monster.
Nice
Boy,
fish.
we have caught a lot of fish. Oh, I don't know. I might be. Oh, it's a pig. It's another big one.
I'll get it.
Yep. I love this fishing. I'll tell you that. John. Another nice fish. Not quite as big as the last one, but oh, look at that fish. There you go.
That's a case, that one.
I'll tell you something.
Nice
Man, you know what? Again, hair jigs in the fall, rock and roll. I'm gonna tell you that. Look at that fish. Unbelievable. Gotta love it, I'll tell you that, John.
Love it is right.
You know, we are very fortunate in the state of Wisconsin. You know, there's a lot of great bodies of water. You know, Minnesota, North Dakota, they all have great bodies of water. But you know, we're pretty fortunate in Wisconsin. We've got some pretty good waters, and it is nice to travel around and fish other bodies of waters and see how they're managed. And you know, you get a really better perspective on how you should manage a system. But you know what? Oops, almost come out of my hand. But I'll tell you something. We really have it made, so
Yep.
Let's let this girl go back, and
Nice.
I'm all about letting big fish go. Hey John,
Yes.
what's the deal with all the spiders in this boat today? Are they trying to find a home for the winter or what? I've
actually-
seen more spiders in this boat than I've seen around my whole farm all year.
I
And
thought
then, I'm not
I
a big fan of spiders.
might try a new bait. You know, I mean, because these babies are big. And you know, why not?
Hey Johnny, you know what? It's time to go in and have some dinner. And you know, I always say this, when you're fishing, every time I come out, even a guy like me that fishes every day pretty much, very fortunate to be able to do that, you're always learning. And two things I learned today for sure from you: bring spider spray and always check your candy bar to make sure there's no spiders in it. You want one? I'll share it with you.
No thanks.
You know what? We had a great day today. I learned you got to put a minnow on a hair jig when the water gets real cold sometimes. That was definitely the key for today. And just remember, you know what, my friend? It's always a great day to be alive. And I'm Larry Smith. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Good night.
Dad, what are you doing?
Hey, it was a tough day today fishing on Lake Winnebago, but I can't think of a better way to wind down and relax and sharpen my skills than reading the Badger Sportsman. It's a far from working experience.